Hi everybody, my name is Rick. Welcome to my Idaho cabin. Back in the late 90s, I used to live in the Sacramento Delta at a little town called Ileton. Ileton is famous for its Crawdad Festival every year on Father's Day weekend. Well, they also have a chili contest. So I made a pretty good chili, at least I thought so. So I entered, and I won. So today I'm going to show you a version of that recipe. The recipe I use in competition calls for a 7-bone roast, and then I take the meat off the bones, roast the bones, and make a broth out of the bones. But today I'm not going to do that. We're just going to use a regular canned broth, and we'll make the chili. One of the things I like about my chili, though, is I like it fairly chunky. So today we're going to use a chuck pot roast, and I'll show you how I cut it up and prepare the chili. I don't like to use ground beef for my chili. I like it a little chunkier. So today I'm using a pot roast, and what I'm doing is I'm going to cut it up into cubes, and then I'm going to grind it into the chili grind using a food processor. Well, I've trimmed up the meat a little bit, taken some of the hard fat off, but now we're going to pulse chop it in the food processor. I've cut it up into about 2-inch cubes, and we'll throw a few in there and then pulse chop it to the size that I like. That's about right. All it needs is about 4 pulses. That's about the size of the meat that I like to use for my chili. It's got some bulk to it, and I think it makes it taste better. Okay, I have the meat all nicely ground, and so now we'll saute it and get it browned. I have my Dutch oven heating now, so I'm going to add a little oil to the pot. Okay, now we'll start to brown the meat. Just do that a little bit at a time. Okay, as the meat browns, I'm going to remove it with a slotted spoon to another bowl, and then we'll continue browning the meat until it's all done. That chuck roast was about 2 1/4 pounds. So I'm going to add about 1 pound of Italian sausage to the pot, and we'll brown that up. A while back, I was watching Russ Jones, who has Smoky Ribs Barbecue, use a little chopper. And when I saw that, I remembered I used to have one a long time ago. Well, I found it. So the recipe calls for some chopped onions. You just put them in this little gadget, close the lid. Makes it real easy. So we're chopping onions, bell peppers, and then I'm going to dice some jalapeños. Well, that little chopper sure made quick work of these. All the vegetables have been chopped now, and the garlic and jalapeños, so now I'm going to put them in, and we're going to saute them for about 5 minutes or until they're soft. Vegetables have nicely softened, so now I'm going to add the meat back into the pot. And we're going to put in the seasoning. So we're going to start off with 6 tablespoons of chili powder. Some Mexican oregano, and cumin. Okay, now we'll mix this up. And we have a few more ingredients to add. We're going to add a can of diced tomatoes and their juice, 12 ounces of tomato paste, this is the easy way to make sure that you get all the tomato paste out of the can. There you go. And 12 ounces of beer. And finally, a can of beef broth. Tablespoon of vinegar. And some salt and pepper. About a teaspoon or 2 of salt at this point. And some good old pepper. And that'll do it. Now we'll just stir this up. Put the top on it and let it simmer for 3, 4, 5 hours. Boy, that's looking good already. Smelling good too. Put this down to a low simmer. Let her sit. There's the final bowl. That's what it looks like, and boy, I'll bet it tastes good. So if you'll excuse me, I'm going to find out. Well, dinner was sure great last night. That chili was delicious. Now, I guess for lunch I'll have to stop up at the store and get some Fritos and maybe do Frito Pie for lunch. And then, I guess maybe for dinner, a stuffed baked potato with venison and chili. That sounds pretty darn good. Okay, well, thanks for joining me on this video, and remember to subscribe if you like it. Check down below, and I'll see you next time. This is Rick at My Idaho Cabin.